wow, now things get very interesting. We get to know more about Sang. This is episode 4 of The Consultant. We get to know more about Sang. We get to find out how Sang and Patoff met. They didn't actually meet. It's Regus Patoff, who came to Sang's office. I wouldn't call it, it's 50-50. There is present day and there is a lot of flashback, especially when it comes to the relationship or the conversation between Patoff and Regus Patoff and Sang. What made Sang make the decision to actually give the company to Regus Patoff? What was the deal? Who pushed the other to that particular level? And in this particular episode, we learned that Mr. Sang was not a very stable person. He had tried to do some things that actually led him into the current position that he found himself in. Because again, we still don't know much about Mr. Regus Patoff, but he knew what Mr. Sang had been up to. So he pushes him to make this decision to actually initiate the events that lead us to this particular series, to episode 1. Let's just put it that way. And it was interesting to see just how, I don't want to use desperate, just how it was interesting to see the company from a different light. We're introduced to this fun, game company, but we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, the financial part of it. We didn't know that they had a few months funds that were enough to actually pay the staff. They were going to run out of money in less than 4 months, and that may have led Sang to do what he had to do. And obviously legacy. If you watch the episode, you understand when I talk about legacy. Now, apart from all that, as I said, we now go deep into the financial part of, we actually see now Sang behave like a consultant. You actually see him go through what the employees are doing and what they've been up to, and why some are in and why some are not in, and why some are paid that amount, and what's going on in the company in terms of finances. And this is the first time that we got to actually see an element of dark humor. I hadn't seen it before. In all those episodes, I hadn't seen what I was looking for in terms of humor, but this is, the episode has come to, the series has come to the point where now I'm seeing a bit of humor come out of the conversations between the employees and Mr. Sang. So with the current financial status of the company, Greg and Elaine are aware of what the company is going through, so they try to come up with new ideas to actually try to solve the problem. One of which, and this comes from Elaine, is to try to bring in something that Sang owned and do something with it so that they can get more money from it, which was kind of humorous. And the other one was Greg still talking about his video game and how they can capitalize on it so that it can bring back the company to where it used to be. The other thing that really keeps developing the character of Regus Patoff, we don't know who he is. We kind of get glimpses here and there, but we still have not narrowed it down to what this character is. But the other thing that gave us a bit of an idea of what kind of a person this guy is his obsession with pencils. When in a flashback, when he's talking to Sang, he talks about a pencil. Then when we come back to the present day, he still has a lot of pencils and just sharpening them for no apparent reason. And he has a lot of them on the side of his table, and he uses one pencil to actually just try to arrange the other pencils. Now, still on who Patoff is, we learn there's one particular scene that I found very fascinating, and it was shot very well. The first time that he comes into the building, the secretary tells him that he needs to have an appointment. And guess what he does? He does the same thing that he did with Elaine when he was calling her at 3, which is repeat the same statement twice. And luckily the secretary was like, you can't go in without an appointment. And guess what he does? He just goes, sits down and waits. He does not blink. He does not move a finger. He does not make any single movement. He just sits down and the camera goes around him, and you can see everything else around him move very fast, and everything just, the way the camera is able to capture what is going on around him and him in his state. He's like a switched off machine. He's like the Terminator when Arnold switched himself off and stops functioning, and he doesn't even blink. So you see the camera go around him, and you get to see every other person around him move very fast, and you watch the day come to an end. Until now he's told you can go see Sam for like 10 minutes. So what do I think up to this episode 4, who do I think Sam is? Last time I thought it was something supernatural. This time I think I'll go back to sci-fi. There's a sci-fi element. When he sat on that seat and the camera was going around him, there was a feeling of a machine. I don't know, he felt like a robot. I don't think it's supernatural. He felt programmed. He doesn't feel connected to the world. It feels like it's something that is working with instructions, zeros and ones. He doesn't feel like it's someone who can process something organically and come up with a reasonable or logical conclusion. Everything that he's doing is very calculated. Everything the decisions that is coming up with are very programmable. Let me just put it that way. So this episode, I'll give it a 4 for mystery and for a bit of humor. This is one of the moments that I actually started to see the humor in the film. Greg still doesn't want to tell Elaine what happened in episode 3, the road trip from hell. But yeah, I hope you get to know more about 1, the place that they went to have the party, and 2, who Mr. Patoff is. So that's episode 4, The Consultant. See you on episode 5.